the 24. We'll talk about that. We're also going to hear from a couple of players as Matt Hyman is with us. Josh Danuska will be with us as well. We're going to talk a little soccer too, as Dwayne Schaefer, the head coach for the men's soccer team, will be joining us throughout the hour as well. And of course, we'll break down the big game on Saturday as the Aggies travel to Cedar City, Utah. They get ready to take on the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. Coach, always good to have you here. Scott, great to have you here as well. Dan, it was a great win on Saturday, a three-phase victory for your team. You got it done offensively, you got out to a great start. The defense played well, obviously Nick Eaton's big play, and special teams performed very well as well.
Yeah, it's funny, a couple weeks ago, Scott goes, hey, eliminate the penalties and the turnovers, you're going to be fine. And it's amazing, you get into all the keys to the game, and usually they're the same. They usually are, by and large. But we had no majors on special teams, no major penalties, which was clean, and the field position average was 10 yards each time. That's a point right there. And so I thought Danny punted the ball very well. Offensively, we did not turn it over. We got off to a huge start and explosion. We had a little bit of a lull there. Kind of in the middle eight, start of the third. I'm always an artist. You're always trying to get a different, better riff on the thing. And obviously a big win, good win. Guys played great. Defense really stoned. And we talked at the start of the game. Their fullback, their quarterback had the vast majority of the carries by far. And we made a big emphasis of our D-line of getting their pads down and not letting them run the fullback. Now, ironically, Birdwalk here, my buddy Mike Thiessen coaches at Air Force, and they beat Fresno this weekend. And of course, I was joking with him. I say, "Hey, don't bring that triple option to Davis." And their fullback had 199 yards.
Wow!
And he was talking about how they just kind of carved him out. And I said, "Hey, you're not going to do that here because our guys are going to play knee football. We're going to get down, and we're not going to let you root us out of there." They hit a few on us, they did, but again, it's you're not going to stop everything all the time. And then we obviously made plays at the end. The administration did a great job. A super great venue, 11,000 people.
Yep, record crowd, the biggest crowd ever at UC Davis Health Stadium.
Kids up and down the tunnel at halftime. Maggie the Aggie, Maverick. It was great. I heard a lot of comments.
My daughter was in there, by the way.
Yeah?
My daughter does the run every time.
Nice.
And she had 4 of her friends. They all did the run.
Fired up about it?
Yeah, it was great.
Jack. Did they get in the tunnel? They did the high five?
They come through the tunnel. Yeah, they come through the tunnel and do the race. Yeah, they love it. Anyway.
So I think it's, Kevin Blue and Rocco and our whole marketing people done a great job just making it a really cool place to be. And I've heard from a couple of different families just how fun it is and how family friendly it is and how user friendly it is. And that's a cool thing. And obviously when the game's exciting, and I get it. Some people, it's the football games aside. I get that. But just come. Also, we're going to have the Brewfest coming up here against Weber here in a little bit. But it was a great night for the Aggies. And I think on the philosophical part, one of the ways I always judge seasons is don't lose 2 games in a row. Because you don't let the last team beat you twice. And now we obviously had a 3-game skid there. So I think for our guys just to hang in there and right the ship. And it did me, I was like a proud pop afterwards at the media event, listening to, KV and Nikki talk, and just hearing how they sort of reverberated our culture. And I was just like a proud papa there, man. I tell you, I was just jacked up. So it was a super great night for everybody, for Aggie Nation and for the Aggies.
It was indeed. And again, if you want to call us, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We're also on Facebook Live, and if you want to chime in through that, you can as well. Scott and I were having a debate. Coach, I'd like to get your opinion on this. I asked Scott during our pregame show about the penalties and what, if anything, UC Davis had to do specifically to address that. Scott, will you tell the coach what your answer was?
Well, Scott Marsh didn't like my answer.
I would say I didn't like your answer.
I'll bet I know what your answer was. I should write it down on a piece of paper.
Here you go.
I'll be honest with you.
No, I'm going to write it. Let me give a chance to write it
down. It's password right now.
You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead and tell him.
I said nothing. So the question would be like if you're having formation penalties or offsides or motion penalties, that you would simplify the offense to meet those plays. You definitely address them, but I said these kids are smart enough, they're prepared enough. I've been in these meetings where Coach Plow, they ask them questions, they know the answers on the spot, they know how to play. My thing was, they just need to be in those situations where there's a little extra pressure and adrenaline, the sensation they don't know. And so I said, don't lower the offense or simplify the offense in any way. They can step up to it. That was what I said.
Want me to read what Dan wrote down?
I didn't read your mind, but
It was a Sokerism. What you pay attention to grows. I've heard you say that many times.
Well, yes, I just didn't want to go too far back in the past.
so
That's true. I agree with that, but that's kind of what I'm saying. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is pay attention to what you're doing, the process you're in, and let that take care of itself.
what I think the real subtle art of coaching is, and Coach Plow and I go back and forth on this, is if you keep telling a guy, don't throw interceptions, stop throwing interceptions, quit throwing interceptions,
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
he's going to throw interceptions. So you have to subtly work on, okay, you see the defender, you got to go through that whole process of eliminating the interceptions. And so that's truly what we've been working on, is making sure somebody's at the line of scrimmage, making sure they're over communicating about what's going on there. I've always believed this, that pre-snap and post-snap penalties, I would say the pre-snap penalties, those are on us. Coaches. Those are on us coaches. Post-snap, those are on players. Like, you're going to have unsportsmanlike do that, those are on the players. In between, realistically, if you look statistically, you look at the analytics and the metrics, most great football teams commit a lot of penalties. They play hard, they play fast. It is not a metric in winning. And I know sometimes people go, oh, you're highly undisciplined, you have all these penalties. Well, go look at the penalties and all the great teams. And I also think there's a little subtle psychological thing when it comes to officiating too. So there's a subtle art to that, and we did get on them about the details. We didn't talk about penalties, we just talked about details. And we said, honor the details and relentlessly pursue improvement. And we kept hammering that out, and do what's necessary so that you can achieve what's possible. And just kept hammering that message. Because when you get into, don't commit penalties, don't turn it over, don't make mistakes, well, that's what they do.
Yeah. That's somewhat what you said. I would defend you in that respect.
He was probably smoother. He's probably like a
I
fine
was not
wine.
really that philosophical. It's radio, you only have like 10 seconds at a spot.
Hey, that's the thing though. You got to get him to treat. You got to give you room. You got to give him the give me room. Give me room. Give him the hand signal.
As long as it's not on Nick Eaton's touchdown return for the fumble.
Yeah, gets here some of your calls. They're really exciting.
Oh no,
They
that
were
was a
great.
play.
I thought he lost his mind on that call.
That was awesome though.
I had to stand
Yeah,
back.
well.
Oh yeah.
Nick's play was awesome.
When you listen to a game, you want to hear the passion and you want to hear the flavor of it. When it's the visiting radio, it's he's at the 40, the 30, the 20, it's touchdown.
Exactly.
Well, we can see them through the glass. They're sitting right next to us.
Yeah, they were pretty deflated at that moment.
Uh-oh.
Coach, let's talk about Nick's play, because obviously it was the play of that game, and it was an incredible effort on his part. I was in that post-game press conference, and he was basically saying I was just filling the C gap and I was doing my job, but that was an extraordinary play by Nick.
They had ways to attack the option. Scott probably wasn't in on all these meetings. When I went to the dark side and left offense and went coach with Foster on defense, there's kind of two ways that you attack it. You either have to stay on the line of scrimmage and be on the same level and feather that thing to the sideline, or you go get it. And what happens is sometimes if you have a guy go get it and everybody else, you create gaps. So you have to have, so Tuck did a good job of being able to present some of that and then back off there. And then he was kind of just doing his job, and then he made a play because he was in the right position. So that's the old, which we know, the neuromuscular patterning. Just go do what you're supposed to do, and then you're right there. And then obviously, but he's highly athletic. He played tight end in high school, scored a lot of touchdowns. He's a really good baseball player, really good baseball. Can play basketball. He's highly athletic.
Yeah, it was named National Player of the Week for that effort. 7 solo tackles, 4 tackles for loss. He was everywhere on that field. And as we were talking about it, it would be tough to choose a player of the game. Nick got it because of that sensational play, but Jake was extraordinary. Chris Vaughn had a great game. Devin King had another tremendous game. You had so many people have career best games in
Isaiah
that game
Thomas.
against Cal Poly. Isaiah Thomas was great with the 2 interceptions as well. He easily could have been
Yeah.
our player of the game.
I was going
Did
to
you
say,
like
I
Jake?
love.
Did you like Jake?
We lit it up. 378, 4 touchdowns. 75% of his passes. It's kind of like walk in the park for the guy. I'm going to say real quick though, I watched the coach's show online or somewhere, maybe it was Facebook. I loved Nick Eaton's answer about that play. I had the C gap. He kept saying, people, the reporters and the journalists were trying to get him to expand on it.
Wasn't the play of the game? Were you trying to
He
make a
kept
play?
coming back to, I had the C gap. That was just beautiful. I mean, that's it right there.
Yeah.
The guy knows what he's supposed to do on the play. He does it. It turns into that.
Well, one of the things we did was I kind of walked over there, and when you're the head coach, you kind of do what you want to do. So I walked over to the scout team and I said, "Give me that ball." They're all looking at me. I said, "Just give me the ball. Run it without the ball. I want everybody to go to their assignment. I don't care where the football is.
Yeah.
Just go to your assignment and get to your
Yeah.
assignment." And that's what he did right there. But no, the thing I was going to tell you about Jake, which was really sweet in this game, the pass that he threw to Lonzie.
Yep.
Scott would appreciate this, but just so Plow did a nice job kind of coming up with this wrinkle, but they got into zero and they blitzed us, nobody back. So we knew when they got into zero, so we had this way to audible to it, and if you watch, they brought 2 guys unblocked, and Lonzie split them and went down the middle. So Jake gets into it, he sees it, we all know on the sidelines, it's one of those deals, we should have done this before it happened, but Jake pedals out of it, nobody's on him, and just lost it to him. I mean, that was such great design from Plow and teaching and execution. I mean, I wanted to tear up right there because like that's the artistry you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then kind of in Scott's situation later in the game, he audibled and got into a run with TJ that kind of allowed us to kind of get a drive going there. So it made me think about you going to 56 slant.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to audible to the pass, but he kind of looked at the edge and goes, "Hey, wait a minute, we got this play right here," and got it to TJ, and TJ was able to get a first down over there. But man, Jake, he had some sweet moments in that game, really did. And I think he only got knocked down one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. O-line did a great
O-line,
job for
man,
him.
did a great job. O and D lines, but the O-line, shout out to the O-line. I know we don't talk about those guys enough, but I mean the run game, the pass game, gave them time. They did a great job. I was going to say on that particular play, on that zero coverage, number 9 came right in Jake's face, hands up, and Jake was just so relaxed, which I loved about him. But 9, as he was kind of there, he looked back, and I thought, oh, was he supposed to take Alonzo coming out of the backfield and just went for it, or was that coverage there selling out, like I'm going to try to get to Jake before he gets the ball out?
Well, their coach was on the other guy hard after the play. I think the other guy was supposed to have him, so the coach was on that guy. I don't think it was so much 9, but yeah, I think they realized when there was a ship passing in the night that one of us should have taken it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we said, it was the parting of the Blue Sea because there was nobody within 20 yards in any direction of Alonzo. It was truly
Well, that's
great
Coach
play.
Plow dialing it up. It's Jake seeing it, and then I not because Scott's here. I think quarterback is one of the greatest positions in sport. But can you imagine 2 guys running at you full speed? You're just going to float back, and then throw that ball. You're probably going to get jacked or
Right.
knocked down.
You know it's coming.
And, you got 2 guys. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to be real calm and poised and throw that ball right there. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
He threw that like a jumper. He just went.
Yeah. Well, they knew it was wide open. Just give
Yeah.
him a chance. That's the old soccer thing. Just give him a chance. You don't have to.
Yeah. No, Jake's been amazing.
I had a question about, so I've been obsessed with your 4th and 2 call. And I went back to the film and watched it over and over and over. And so during the telecast, it's weird, so I'm new in the booth, you get to see it kind of live. And of course your eyes track the quarterback. I try to watch the field a little bit, but I was tracking Jake a little bit. And then you get a bit of a replay. You don't get the whole perspective. And when I went back and looked at it, first the call, crazy gutsy call, and I think it was more of a wake-up call, a football call. I want you to talk about that for a second. But when I looked at the play, it was a great play.
It was.
The play action to Alonzo was perfect on 4th and 2. Bab comes in motion. He's in the flat for that first down. Wes releases inside and runs like a flag route. Now, Wes was open right off the bat. So if Jake would have made that fake and dumped it to him, you got it. I think this is the only play in the whole game Jake might like to have back. So he rolls, he checks Bab. They jump Bab. I think Jake could have run for that first down, and if he attacks the line of scrimmage, flips to Bab. But when he throws it to Wes is so tracking hard to the flag, Jake actually puts it in the only place he can catch it. He tried to alter his route with the throw, which is sophisticated thinking. If he made it a jump ball, you get it. Great call. I thought the play, when I looked at it, was a brilliant play. It had to be one of those things where you're like, we got to play for this.
Yeah,
right?
and let's set it up, because it was 34-24 at that point on your side of the field. You'd been seemingly conservative in terms of bringing out Daniel Whelan in situations that kind of pinned them back, but you did go for it in this situation. So,
Well, he's right. It is a little bit of a wake-up call, and I just, in the game of life and the game of sport, I mean, at some point I'm going, we have to deserve to win this game. And I believe in our offense. I believe in Coach Plow. I believe in Jake. Like, I truly believe to some degree if we just commit to going for 4 downs, we're a tough outfit to stop. We really are at 4 downs. I just really believe that. So at some point you need to go, yeah. And I was also going, hey, if we don't get it, you know, we haven't really been stopping them at that point anyway. We're up by 10. Okay, if they go score, that's a 3-point game. And our guys are such sweet guys. We play better with our back to the wall. Like, I almost feel like we should just kick off and let them run it back for 7, and then, you know, just let them get a 14-point lead, and then we'll go play football. But I'm trying to get these guys, and it does. But hey, we're so confident about it. But yeah, your assessment is totally right. Jake would love to. We went through that, obviously, with him and Coach Plow, and Wes was headed a little more vertical. But as you know, and when we called it, like, I'm thinking he's going to throw the flat or he is going to run it. But as soon as we ran it, I mean, Wes came through there so wide open. You probably saw it. I was going, touchdown!
Yeah.
And I think it shocked kind of everybody a little bit, and I think that's why Jake ended up ignoring the flat and or him running it. Because he's wide open, but they were off just a little bit in their angle and their throw. But hey, defense had our back, and they were great. And we're playing complementary football.
absolutely. It was a great win for the Ags over Cal Poly. We're going to go ahead and take the break. We're going to bring in Matt Hyman. We're going to get Josh Januska up here as well. We're going to hear from Dwayne Schaefer. We'll bring you guys back in a little bit as well. We'll talk some Southern Utah football. Big game on the road Saturday as the Aggies take on the Thunderbirds. It's a 6 o'clock Central Time kickoff, 5 o'clock here on the Pacific Coast, and you can watch all the games. We should let you know right here at Parkside Bar and Lounge. That's where we're at tonight. Glad to be here for the Bud Light UC Davis Football Coaches Show right here, Sports 1140 KHTK. Parkside Bar and Lounge. We're in downtown Davis. Time now to talk a little other football, the real football, right? The first sport that was called football, and we call it here soccer in America. I'm talking about men's head coach Dwayne Schaefer. Dwayne, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, Scott, thank you for having me.
Now, you're in LA tomorrow night. You've got a big game versus UC Irvine. You're getting ready for that. So you're getting ready for travel and all that, and also kind enough to join us here. It's a big road trip for your team, coming off 5 straight victories.
Yes, yeah, it's always a big game, and when we travel down to UC Irvine, they got a great program. The new coach has done a phenomenal job in the last couple of years, and it's always a big game for us down there. They got a great facility, and they're ranked highly this year again, ranked in the top 35 in the RPI, so it's a big game for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, obviously, you guys are peaking too, having won 5 straight. So catch us up to speed where you guys are at right now and how you guys are playing so well.
Well, we started out the season strong. We had a good group of veteran players on our team, and they represented the Aggies well for the first 4-5 games of the season, and did very well. We groomed some of the young guys into the program, a lot of the freshmen. Had several redshirt freshmen come into the team. Those guys are all beginning to get better and better daily. They're training hard, they're improving, they're learning. So we sort of incorporated those guys into the team during this winning streak. And then there's a couple players that are just sort of rounding into form, as we say in soccer. They're getting fit. We had one young man on our team who was a starter for 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore out of Christian Brothers High School. His name's Christian Hepner. And he sat out for a couple years because of injury. Now he's back into the team. So it took him a little bit to get going. I believe if he's got 4 goals in our last 3 games. So he's been a big part of our success over this winning streak. And so I think it's all starting to come together, and we're peaking at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get in the league, you want to be ready to go. As you talked about, the competition gets stronger too. Now, Coach Schaefer, for you, it's your 23rd season. I know. I don't want to
Don't
talk about
tell
too much, but
anybody that.
and I'd have to ask Kevin Blue, our director of athletics, but you might be the longest tenured coach at Davis. I know Matt Vaughn with baseball is up there too.
Yeah, so is Bill Mays.
Bill Mays, yeah, but tennis.
Yeah,
That's right. He's been there a while. Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. But you're right up there. So talk
Yeah,
about
well,
23 years at UCD.
Those guys are older than me.
Okay, well we'll make that clear first.
Yeah. No, it's been a great run at UC Davis, and it's as we all know. I mean, it's just an unbelievable place to live, raise a family. We get to work with some great student athletes, so there hasn't, there isn't really a better place for any of us, and it's been a great experience, and we can win. And so that's kind of what's kept me here, and working with great student athletes, and great community.
Absolutely. And speaking of one of the big ones, against St. Mary's earlier in the year, they were number 6 in the country. You took out their 31-game unbeaten streak. That was a huge accomplishment against the Gales.
Yeah, they have an incredible program going right now. They have 4 or 5 foreign kids that are just outstanding.
It's like basketball. They've got all the foreign kids play basketball through all the Australians.
Well, I think their head coach took that formula and put it on the soccer field, and it's worked out really well for him. He's got some great kids, and we went down there and did something a little bit different. I mean, everybody wants to play soccer in the beautiful way and kind of possess the ball and play like Barcelona does. That's what everybody sees around the world. But sometimes you got to make a game ugly, and that's what we did. And the tactics, I changed up the tactics, and it worked out really well for us on the night. So,
well, that definitely worked out. Part of the 11-game unbeaten streak, and included in that a win at Air Force, another good team.
Yeah.
Anytime you beat Sacramento State, it's always a good one, right? That doesn't matter.
Yeah. We have to face them again, and the next time it'll be a Big West Conference game. So this one was against Sac State, but it was a non-conference game. So the next one will be a little bit more meaningful, and it'll be played at Aggie Soccer Field. So we're looking forward to that always.
And speaking of which, you have a game at home this weekend coming up too.
Yeah. So last year, UC Riverside, we played them in the Big West Conference tournament final at their place. Unfortunately, penalty kicks didn't go our way, so they advanced to the NCAA tournament. And but this year they come back to our place, and so we're looking forward to having another home game. We were on the road for 4.5 weeks, 8 consecutive games on the road. So
and that's more than most teams in the conference have for the entire year, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was nice to get back home. I mean, we've got a beautiful facility, and strong support. And on the weekends, generally our crowds are pretty big and supportive. So we're looking forward to another good showing this Saturday.
We're talking with Dwayne Schaefer, the men's soccer coach here at UC Davis. You mentioned a lot of players. Let's talk about Adam Mickelson a little bit, because he's the Big West active player for most career assists.
Yep.
Talk about his game a little bit.
So Adam is sort of a unique player. I mean, he's physically not the biggest kid, but he's quick and fast. He's got a very competitive edge to him. But when he's on and he's kind of like running at defenders, he's difficult to defend. He's had a great year. He's been our most dangerous attacking player. The statistics don't quite show that for him, and I know he's been a little bit frustrated with that, but the goals, they generally start coming in bunches, and so we're hoping that Adam kind of catches fire in the last 5 regular season games here, and if he does, we're just going to even be a more dangerous team. So yeah, but Adam's had a very good senior year so far and a great career.
Okay, now you've been to the NCAA tournaments. You've talked about on multiple occasions. What will it take this year to get back there?
Well, I would say at this point, the 5 games out in front of us, 4 out of the 5 are high RPI rated teams, and so we need to get a couple wins out of those games. And I think if we do get 2 or 3 wins out of the next 5, we'll at least put ourselves in a position to get in that large bid.
Right.
But ultimately, it's about winning the Big West Conference, and and we've been in the final 3 times in the last 6 years, and unfortunately penalty kicks haven't gone our way. So we're always right there on the brink of it, and I mean, someday the soccer gods got to be with us, and the penalty kicks will fall our way. But it's in our hands, and everybody in our conference is really good. The Big West is one of the highest rated RPI conferences in the country for men's soccer, so it's going to be tough, and it'll be difficult for us to win the Big West, but I feel pretty comfortable and confident in our players. So
yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong on this too, but I believe you were the first UC Davis team to make a D1 playoff.
Yeah,
you were the first team to do that.
Yeah.
What was that experience like with the transition to Division I and then making a Division I playoff, being that first school representing UC Davis?
Well, that was pretty special for not only myself but the student athletes and for the entire department, because through the transition from D2 to D1, we kind of got thrown right into the mix, and we're playing extremely difficult schedules. But by the time we got into when the NC2A allowed us to be selected, we were sort of groomed and primed, ready to go. And I had an unbelievable group of players during that time that helped us get to that point. One of them is Quincy Amarikwa, who was just inducted to the UC Davis Athletics Hall of Fame. We have another young man who works in the department, Sule Anibaba, who, in my opinion, is probably the best player that's ever played for me at UC Davis. And they were phenomenal players, and to get in there and compete with the full national level against the Dukes, the Indianas, the UCLAs, Stanfords. I mean, and we were right at that level, competing with those guys. So we made it in 07. We went down to Cal. We played at Cal in front of the largest crowd that a Cal men's soccer team has ever had. It was sold out at over close to 5,000 people, and then we ended up not advancing. We lost in overtime, unfortunately. But then the next year we came back and we made it to the NC2A tournament again, and did really well the second time. So it was a great experience. Looking forward to getting back to it.
Experience helps for sure. Now, part of it too, like with Coach Hawk and players come in, they always think about next level. They're student athletes and they're getting their job done in the classroom, but if it's possible, they want to play at the highest level. And just like with your squad, there's a lot of players who want to step up and play at that MLS level, and that's part of what you've been able to do with the program too.
Yeah, there's I would say that's probably the biggest change with the student athletes that have come into the program during my career, is that the kids today have so many professional playing opportunities in front of them, and they can make a relatively good living playing the game. One of our players is still currently playing in MLS, Quincy Amarikwa. He plays for DC United alongside Wayne Rooney, who's one of the greatest players to ever play the game for Manchester United. And he's actually playing in the MLS playoffs this weekend. But we had Roy Boateng drafted in MLS as the number 16 pick this last year. We have a couple kids on our team right now. Probably led number 1 prospect would be Nabi Kibanguchi, who's only a junior, and hopefully Nabi comes back for his senior year. But he is definitely an MLS prospect. Wallace Lapsley has also been invited into a couple MLS training camps. So I think the talent level in the team is good enough to play at the professional level. But it's, as I tell the guys all the time, your legs are only young once. So you go ahead and play for as long as you possibly can, because you can always go to work.
Enjoy that ride, for sure. It's fun, because I've had a chance to broadcast some of the Sacramento Republic games, and now with them having such a great chance of getting MLS in this area and everything else. And I know you've had a chance to play against them in exhibition games and everything else, and that's also a great opportunity.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I got a good relationship with those guys over there at the Sac Republic, and they've done a phenomenal job. I mean, within the community, it's just been awesome. It would be so cool to have an MLS franchise in downtown Sacramento. I think it'd be a huge hit. Hopefully they get selected as the next franchise to join the league.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to find out soon on that, but you've got more pressing matters at hand. You've got to get out to the airport tomorrow morning and get ready for a big matchup versus the Anteaters. So
yes, indeed.
Appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Dwayne Schaefer, the men's soccer coach here at UC Davis. We're here at Parkside Bar and Lounge. We'll take the break. We're going to switch back to football. We're going to get Matthew Hyman, Josh Januska up here. We'll talk some UC Davis football. It is the Bud Light UC Davis Football Coaches Show right here, Sports 1140 KHTK. With you here, we're live on remote Parkside Bar and Lounge. And again, a reminder, you can watch all the Davis football road games right here, including the one Saturday night, Southern Utah, 5 o'clock kickoff. Come on out to Parkside Bar and Lounge and watch the game right here. We'll be bringing back Coach Hawkins in the next segment. But right now, we want to talk to a couple of the players with the UC Davis football team. Standouts here on the offensive side, Matthew Hyman, tight end. Josh Januska with us on the defensive end. Guys, thanks so much for being out here tonight. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, now Josh, let's talk about you, because you know what it's like to play offense. You were an offensive player who was switched to the defensive side here in your days at UC Davis. So talk to us about your career path here as a player.
Well, yeah, I came in as a receiver my first year, and I redshirted. I did like scout offense, and I liked it, but the coaches like really tend to like what you like and how you are as a player. So after my first year, they asked if I wanted to go defense. So I went over, played corner, and then the following year they moved me to safety, which I really like, and I've been there for 3 years, and I really like it over there.
Yeah, you've seen some good defensive backs in your time.
Yeah.
You know, with Olave, who's been out there, and of course the corners with Vincent White, and what's going on this year as well with Tigger Garcia and everybody else. It's been a good group.
Definitely. It's cool to just be in the same room with those guys like throughout the years and see them work hard and get what they deserve on the field. And it's cool to just be around them all the time.
Yeah, let's talk about that game plan on Saturday against Cal Poly, because you guys came out and you guys were focused and on assignment. When anytime you play that triple option, you've got to have a special week of preparation. So talk about what it was like getting ready for that game and how you guys executed that game plan.
Yeah, we just mentally prepared to everyone do their jobs and get ready to tackle. Usually we do full pads 1 day a week, but Coach Hawk had us do it Tuesday and Wednesday just to really get ready to tackle them.
Right, and he took the football away too.
Yeah,
That's what he was
he did.
talking about.
He did.
How do you play football without the football?
I don't know, we just did it somehow. Coach Hawk makes it happen. But yeah, it really helped with assignments and all that though.
Yeah, it looked like you guys were obviously in the gaps, and obviously Nick was in his gap
Oh, definitely.
when you made that play.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, everybody had to go crazy on the sideline for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually crazy. That was like I was on the bike just trying to stay warm, and all of a sudden I just see Nick out of nowhere. It just seemed like a flash.
It was a
Just
flash.
on the 50-yard line.
You just saw a bunch of hair bopping in the back for about
Yeah, no,
80
exactly.
yards.
So that was a really cool play.
Yeah, Matt, let's talk about your journey too. Obviously, you came from the junior college route.
Yeah.
And that's not that it's not atypical, but it's not the most common path. Most people who come to UC Davis are redshirting and here 4 or 5 years. So talk about your path to UC Davis.
Yeah, my path was really interesting. I played my senior year of high school football. I played 2 years in high school, my freshman and senior year, and then after that.
What happened in between?
Well, it just life, personal, family issues, and just kind of just lost some of the love for the game. But came back, and junior college was my last semester there, and decided to play football again, and was really lucky enough to get an opportunity to come here. Probably made one of the best decisions of my life. I love being at Davis, and the coaching staff just spoke to me, and just really special group of guys, and just the culture here. I could tell, it was something that I wanted to be a part of. But yeah, just interesting route, because I played 1 year at junior college, and then last year was my first year here with Davis, and this will be my last year, redshirt senior year. So yeah.
It's gone by especially quick for you.
Yeah, no, it's it's pretty unusual, and not many people have the same route as I took, but I'm just really glad that I still got a chance to at least play at this level and play with these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking about just your group in particular, you guys are loaded at tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Wes Priest is an All-American, and he gets a lot of the accolades, but you've got the freshman Blake Thorpe, who's making a lot of headway in his first year here, and Christian Scott-Terrace, and Pat Miller's even a tight end who's playing a lot of special teams out there as well, so it's quite a group.
Pal's actually playing, he was helping out on scout this last week with Cal Poly, and we were kind of joking, Coach Hawk in the locker room was just saying how Pat has more rushing yards against our defense than their fullback did. I mean, it's just crazy because we've got guys who just, they'll just make huge sacrifices. And, Pat Miller is one of those guys where you might not see him a lot at tight end, but, he's going to give you everything just for the team. He's going to put the team in front of himself. And, we got a great group of good tight ends. And Blake, another guy you mentioned, is just a young guy who's really just bought into the program and really just trying to thrive. So
Yep.
it's fun.
And I always will say Pat kicked off the year the right way. 'Cause
Yeah.
he forced the first fumble of the year against Cal in the first play of the game. So
Yeah, that was fun.
it was. How about playing for Coach Creighton? Because not only is he your tight ends coach, but he's also the special teams guy.
Yeah, I love Coach Creighton. We all love Coach. He just, he brings so much energy to meetings and just on the field, and I've become so much of a better player after, being under him and just really just soaked up all the stuff he's, all the tools he's given me. And, he sometimes, last year it was in practice, he'd really get on me in my first year, and being at Davis, and, it's just kind of grown on me a little bit, and just used to it, and but I love him, so much more, and I'm just so glad to be a part of, such a great group of guys, especially playing with Wes. I mean, he's just like the best tight end in Davis history, so it's just so fun to be behind that guy and, support that guy, and just whenever he needs like a break, I'm always there, or whenever he needs like, someone to just, rely on, I can just come in and, try to do my job the best of my ability, so.
Yeah, he's missed a touchdown for sure.
Oh, yeah.
25,
Yeah.
most for any tight end in UC Davis history. But you had a touchdown grab this year too. It was off that double pass.
Yeah, no,
with Carson.
it's funny because both my catches were actually from Carson. One against Cal and San Diego, and kind of joking with Jake, just talking about how maybe I should just get the ball thrown to me from Carson the rest of the year. But it's kind of funny that kind of just that's how it turned out. But yeah,
Cool. We're talking with Josh Januska and Matthew Hyman, UC Davis football. I noticed both you guys are managerial econ majors. So are you guys helping each other out in school, or how does that work? You guys have a lot of the same classes on campus?
Yeah, I mean, I remember like last year I'd ask him what was the class he took, because me being a transfer, he's a little ahead of me. So yeah, it actually kind of like helps. Wes is main econ, Matt Blair our kicker.
Yep.
For me it really helped just coming in as a transfer.
I don't think we've been in the same classes yet, but I think we've taken the same classes in like different quarters. So it's nice to like talk about it and like see how teachers are, see how the workload is and all that. Really helps out.
Yeah, give the lowdown on what
Yeah.
classes you need to take and
Yeah.
maybe which ones you don't need to take quite as much.
And I've actually got one class with Teeger, that was actually today, and he's like 4.0 student, so it's always helpful when you got a class with that guy.
And it kind of makes sense that he is, right, because he is kind of the team captain and he's the one who's calling so many signals out there. What's it like playing with Teeger, Josh?
It's almost relieving because if you ever mess up, he's gonna be there with the right answer. And I don't know how he does it. He works hard in school, on the field, and he just always knows what he's doing. So it's always nice to have someone to always have it that's reliable.
Yep, absolutely. All right, you guys got a big game on Saturday. Every game's a big game. It's the biggest cliche. I understand that. It's every week is the biggest game of the year. Let's talk about Southern Utah. Obviously, you go on the road. Never easy to win on the road in this conference. And you're a Tuesday of your week of preparation, so you're still getting ready for the game. But let's just talk about the game on Saturday a little bit, coming off the big one on Saturday. I'll let you go first, Josh.
I think I'm not concerned, but one thing to think about is it'll be a little bit colder there, so
Nighttime game.
Yeah, keep that in the back of our head. But no,
It was really windy there a couple of weeks ago. I watched the Cal Poly game, and wind was a big factor in that game.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But I mean, the record is kind of deceiving because they had a tough preseason games. They played South Dakota State, UNLV, and then they played Cal Poly tough.
Yeah, Weber
Played
last
Weber
week.
tough, yeah. So
Yeah, they're 1-6, but that's kind of misleading, right?
it's deceiving, yeah. So it'll be a good one.
Got a quarterback who can throw the ball pretty good.
Definitely, they got a lot of quick shifty guys on offense, so
Yep.
that'll be tough.
Yeah, but then I know offensively, these schools, Southern Utah coach talks about it a lot, but they're always physical teams. Whenever you take on a Southern Utah or Weber, you know you're going to be against guys, and in some cases they're a lot older too. They've been on a mission. They've come back. They're Drakely like age.
No, that's we talked about that briefly, but definitely a physical group of guys. something important we talked about is ball security this week. No hero ball, Coach Ball likes to say. But yeah, definitely, a really good 1-6 team. I'll put them. I respect them. Their defense.
And you guys can kind of relate because I know you feel like your record should be better than 3-4 right now.
Yeah.
So it's two teams that kind of have that similar mindset. I would say at this point in the season. As we wrap up with Josh and Matt, just let's talk about. People are wondering where's the Davis killer instinct. In other words, up 34-0. Cal Poly got back in the game. They're a good team, so they deserve credit for that. But people kind of want to see, is it the next step to figure out how to not only get ahead of an opponent, but kind of to just put it out of reach before they can make a comeback?
Yeah, I think it's just something we're still kind of searching for, and just something where, again, we can have, all three phases, special teams, offense and defense, just all in rhythm at the same time, because I think, once we do that, we really special. It's kind of like the first quarter, I thought we had a glimpse of that.
Yeah, you guys just came out devastating both sides of the ball.
So, just doing that for 4 quarters, and I think we're just still searching for it.
Josh?
Yeah, I think Coach Hawk had a good point. We're all good guys on the team, and we might be too nice, just that's scared to put them away and just really finish the team, but I think I'll just come with time. We'll be able to put teams away.
All right. Well, you've got a chance to do that on Saturday. Thank you guys both for coming out here, and look forward to seeing you on the road trip this weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right. That's Josh Januska, Matthew Hyman from the football team. We'll take the break, come back. Coach Hawk will rejoin you. We'll have Scott Berry up here as well. We'll talk Southern Utah a little bit. The big game on Saturday right here, Sports 1140 KHDK. Welcome back into the Bud Light UC Davis Football Coaches Show. Rejoining me, the head coach for the Aggies, Dan Hawk, and Scott Berry here as well. Coach, again, every week we say 2 more great student athletes that you picked to come out with us tonight with Matt and Josh.
Really cool stories. Juice, Josh Januska, we call him Juice, tore his pec, unfortunately, and early in the year, and we thought he might make it back for the last game against Sac State. Well, we have roster limitations. Juice is a senior, and I love the guy. I do. And I said, Juice, this is killing me, but I may not get you on the roster. I mean, if you might be able to be ready for the last game, we're going to eat up a roster spot. So the more I thought about it, truthfully, I just said, we need Juice on our team. We always talk about glue guys and culture guys. He's a glue guy. So I said, okay, we need this guy on our football team. But true to form, he works his tail off, comes back against North Dakota, so way ahead of schedule, and then first play he's in, he makes a tackle on kickoff. And just a terrific story. And then Matt Hyman, just kind of bounced around as a basketball guy, kind of found football. I knew some guys at Santa Rosa Junior College, Frank Sclercio, Davis guy, and went to Santa Rosa JC. He knew Matt as well, so they said, hey, they got a guy over here. And the more we started looking at him, we went over and ran, and he was catching the ball. He was very fluid, tall guy, and had length. So this guy kind of reminds us a little bit of Wes. He's kind of a tall guy. Truth be told, he might be faster than Wes.
He's pretty quick.
He can roll.
Yeah.
I was telling him today, I go, it's a bummer that we didn't have him earlier in his career, because I think having a little more work and getting him a redshirt year and getting him in the weight room and doing all those things. Really super great kid, though. I really love the range of personalities that we have at UC Davis and the depth of kids and where they're at personally and socially, and really super cool thing to be a part of. But I love those guys here. We do this thing on Monday mornings. We give out these battlefield commissions, and we're not really into players of the week. And Jay Carly, it's about the culture. It's about the culture. Guys that are doing culture things, and I see these 2 guys up here, and it really makes my eyes watery, because that's Davis football to me.
Coach, let me ask you something about culture. So you preach a lot about that everybody's going to contribute, and I love that message. And we noted during the game how many freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomores were playing and making a contribution. You hate to see guys get injured, But sometimes when those younger guys come in and play, it really creates a great part of personality and character for that team and identity where everyone's going to contribute. And this game especially, you know, as you go down the line from Thor, Ornelas, how's he doing?
We'll see. He's a little dinged, but he ran around today. We're thinking he's going to be good.
But you go to Spencer, Gilliam, some sophomore guys. Nick Fatone's redshirt freshman. Jordan Ford, Park sophomore. Lance Babb is a redshirt freshman. And so seeing all those guys play and make contributions, Spencer, you know, as well, that was part of the culture, yeah?
I'm a big Maslow guy. You guys know that. I think people want to roll. They want to slice the pie. And the thing I've sort of learned over time is what we do wrong in sports is we make you compete against me. So if you're, and it's tough at quarterback. We know that at quarterback. But I'm sitting around hoping you break your leg because I want to play. And the guy behind me is hoping I'm ineligible because he wants to play. It's do something well consistently. And then we'll find a role for you. And you feel free to tell us what you think your role. But then understand that not everybody's role is maybe as big. It's all as important in different ways. And we talk about these 1,000 invisible moments that add to these great masterpieces that we're putting together. And so it's not, we mentioned Pat Miller. Pat Miller was a linebacker that went to tight end, played scout team fullback. He's on kickoff. And Pat Miller, man, that guy's Aggie pride through and through. So we really get guys to buy into that and understand it's not about you. Scott, you know this because I was here, and I came when you were here, and you probably noticed this, but when I was a junior college player and I came here, the only thing on my mind was I need to play. I should be playing. I'm better than Mike Shaw. I'm faster than Mike Shaw. I'm bigger than Mike Shaw. I should be playing. I should be playing more. Why don't they throw me the ball? That was on my mind 24/7. And it was about the end of that year where it finally, over time, and John Patella helped with this, but I said, gave myself up to the way. Just give yourself up to the way. And when I finally decided I'm going to do whatever it takes to help these guys, I played better. I had more fun. I actually ended up starting a couple games at the end. So that's Aggie pride. But all these guys, we really try to enrich their role and find their role and build a role and give them a role somewhere. I'm always watching those team meeting rooms and, you know, how can we use this guy? How can we get that guy? Do we have him in the right spot? Can we blitz this guy? I'm fascinated by that because everybody's capable of doing something awesome and I can just find the button.
Yep, and it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Let's make sure we get that right, because I butchered that the last time we were questioned about that.
I still have the drawing that you did for us on the whiteboard on my phone.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
All right, we got a couple minutes left. Let's get into Southern Utah real quickly. It's interesting, not that it's a coaching matchup, but it's great in the fact that it's two former Aggies going against each other. Demario Ward, who of course played here as a running back and got his start here with Coach Biggs.
Plow's mad because he said Demario just stood next to him and Plow told him everything to do when he played here. He goes, so he always tells the quarterbacks, hey, that's what you get. If you tell a running back everything to do, he'll go get a head job. And, yeah, but Demo's a really good guy. He's done a nice job in Southern Utah, but really good guy.
He is. All right. In terms of the matchup as you see it.
Big physical athletic team. We know that. We saw them here a couple years ago. I'm agreeing with the guys. I don't think you got to throw the record out. They played Weber really tough last week. He was great and had some tough early season games. So I think you can throw that out. They're a big, physical, strong group. They're older. They're more mature. We're playing them at their place. But again, we just got to be the best version of ourselves and try to play clean and cut it loose. And hey, whatever happens, if we play as well as we can play, we get on the plane, and it is what it is.
Absolutely. And of course, they've got a quarterback who can throw it a little bit too.
And he can run it. He can run it. They'll swing around. Scott was saying he was watching film, and they've got every play in the book, and every formation in the book, and every motion in the book. They're gonna give you the whole kitchen sink, that's for sure. And they've got some guys who can scoot and get up the field. You know, they run fly sweep, run some screens to them, but they love the vertical game, so it'll be a fun game.
So how do you see things?
You know, I mean, I only know from the film I've watched just a little bit today. I mean, they're 1-6. I looked at the stats. There's an imbalance between their passing and running, not running the ball really that well. But I second all of that. And when I look at them just on film on my phone, I'm dialed into the X's and O's. They look physical. Their offense looks like us a little bit.
They're very dynamic. Yeah, a lot of formations, a lot of motions, a lot of shifting. Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of eye candy.
Look physical on defense. They look big on defense.
They are
We'll see if
big,
they can
strong,
run.
aggressive group. Yeah, they can run. Jeff Fisher, the NFL coach.
That's right, his son's the D
son is
coordinator.
DC.
Yep.
So yeah, they're going to give you everything you want and some.
Yep. Well, every week is a major battle in the Big Sky. We know that. And Coach, as always, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to the big game on Saturday.
All right, thanks. Go Eggs.
And then Scott, look forward. You're going to be on the broadcast this week. You're traveling.
You made the travel.
Yeah,
Finally.
I asked Coach if I have to wear a suit. He said, "Nah, sport coat." You wear a sport coat? Do I need
Yeah,
to wear a
sport
suit?
coat.
You call it a business trip, though.
No,
The guys wear suits, right?
no. No, we did to San Diego. That was a business trip.
Does Kevin Blue wear a suit?
Now it's business casual. He usually wears a sport coat.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's an administrator.
There will be some coat. A couple of guys, Hugh, Shap, they like to go with tie, the tie and the whole thing.
They do?
Yeah.
I just want to
Just maybe
represent,
not
that's all.
denim. I don't know if
You
that
look,
Okay.
like, you look like you walked out of GQ right now. You're good, right?
I always say that.
All right, again, the game time is 5 o'clock Pacific time. UC Davis getting ready to take on Southern Utah. And again, you can watch the game if you're in this area, Davis. Come by Parkside Bar and Lounge. They will have the game on. We appreciate them having us here tonight for the UC Davis Football Coaches Show. That's going to do it. We'll be back with you again next Tuesday night for this show. And in between, of course, the game, 5 o'clock, we'll have the countdown, the kickoff show on Sports 1140 beginning at 4:30. Our thanks to Chris Verlod back at the Cage to Cage Studios, engineering tonight's broadcast. And as always, go Axe.